Welcome back again, blade fans. This old sword is with you. And yes, so soon on the heels of that wonderful Cohen's Craft Bowie I showed you, we have another fixed blade today. This one I've been waiting for a little while, and it comes from Black Roc Knives, maker Ken Vehikite. And if you check my videos out, you will see several other previous Black Roc knives. This is certainly not the least of them by any means. This is a fairly well-known design, or getting to be well-known design by him. He simply calls it the boot. I'm going to call it a ring dagger boot. And the first thing we see is he does incredible kydex work. Probably some of the best kydex work I've seen pretty much anywhere. I mean, look how carefully that is pressed and molded. And he's doing the DCC style clips, discrete carry concepts. I'm not sure if this is exactly their clip or a clip that is like it. He also makes a provision, a welt on the sheath just for that clip. So it is riveted in, can't move it, but you still have grommets and slots all the way around to hang this any way you'd like. And let's take a look at the blade. Oh, in typical Black Roc fashion, look at the texturing on this wicked little 5-inch dagger. And look at that edge. Incredible. There's his logo, ROC. And notice how he brings the G10 handle material right out onto the choil area below the guard. Really interesting. That's one of the things that intrigued me about the design, and that you have a usable finger choil no matter which way you hold it. This is a completely universal, symmetrical, ambidextrous knife. Now the ring, that's interesting. Many of the ring daggers are not meant to be held like a karambit because the ring is not offset. In order to line the blade up correctly in this fashion, the ring really needs to be set to one side or the other. You can do that on a karambit or a single-edged knife, but it's difficult, if not impossible, to do on a symmetrical dagger. So I take the ring to be something, number one, to easily pull it out of the sheath. And notice you can get your whole hand on there perfectly. The ring does become a blunt trauma instrument. And let's make no mistake about it. This is not your, typical EDC skinning knife, shall we say. This is not a knife you're going to carry for cutting cardboard. This is designed to be a combat, tactical style knife. Tactical meaning against another individual who is aggressing towards you in whatever means. I don't know how to put that in a politically correct way, but hey, it's a fighting knife, guys. And I chose this layered G10 because look what he does with it. Look at the texture, the fluting texture. And these knives are meant to look kind of ancient and rugged, but make no mistake, they are perfectly ground. The ruggedness gets added later. He does extraordinary grinds and detailed work. It's almost like a machine did it, almost as if it was milled out by a machine, but this is all done by hand. You can watch Ken in some of his videos on Instagram making knives. It's quite the process to see. So I think we'll measure it up and then talk about it some more. I've got some other Black Roc knives on the table, which we can compare and talk about as well. So the overall length of this one is 10 1/4 inches to the end of the ring. Cutting edge is 4 3/4. If I bring it right to the end of the steel and the beginning of the G10, it's 5 1/4. If I bring it to the guard, it's 5 1/2. So however you want to measure that up, those are several different ways. Blade stock in millimeters. Where shall we grab this for blade stock? How about right in the choil area? 4 1/2 millimeters. And that's a 0.17. Oh, we got to get the handle. So, yeah, let's get the handle. It's fairly thin. I got to angle it so that I'm across the texture. 0.66 inches across the handle. It does feel slim, but just about right and nicely contoured and oval. Weight of the knife. Is 6.83, we'll call that 6.84. Why does it change? 6.84. If we add the sheath, then 9.2. So a little bit extra for the Kydex. It isn't that heavy. Just, again, no rattle, nothing, and yet it's snug, but it comes out when you want it to. So holds with something like this, you know, just your standard square up hammer grip, your point down Pical grip. This would be very devastating in Pical technique. And if you chose to put your thumb through the ring, as I'm hearing Lynn Thompson says a ring dagger is used, you can maybe do something like that. Although that's a little foreign to me to hold the knife 90 degrees differently than I would normally. But I guess it won't roll if you put your thumb through there. A little odd, but I heard that from Bob DeMarco, so I'm passing that along in case it's legit. But, you know, look at the color combo. And I felt, although he makes some wild Kydex sheaths that look like snakeskin and everything, I thought that the light gray would go good. You know, fashion statement, right? All right. Let's put that guy down the boot. And let's look at some other Black Roc customs. By the way, Black Roc knives are made out in Indiana, in the good old USA, by Ken himself, one-man shop. That is the Virus. That is a Pical, dedicated Pical knife. Point down, edge in, and it is a chisel ground knife. So flat on one side, grind on the other. This one is called the Voodoo. That is also chisel ground. And that's a little longer knife. Pretty perfectly sized for a smaller single edge knife. You can see that rock pattern on there on that one as well. They all come, again, in really great Kydex sheaths. This one's sort of a forest green. I've got a camo going on with this one, kind of a gray urban camo for the virus. Let's get that one back in, but you know, if you don't put it in the right way, it ain't going to go in. For comparison to a smaller dagger, here we have the Tellum by Bastinelli. That's definitely a very carryable dagger. Expertly made by, designed that is, by Bastian Coves of Bastinelli Knives. This one is made by Fox in Italy, M390. Very handy, larger style clip. And one of my favorite Black Roc designed, Vehikite designed production knives. This is the Ryu by Fox Knives. And you can see we've got the rock pattern here going on this natural micarta. Really, really nice. One of my favorite Tanto style knives, and that is a Tanto style knife in the traditional Japanese variation. Notice no chisel point. And this is done in Nylox, very interesting steel that is somewhat stain resistant, and they just do them up very, very sharp. So a little bit bigger than the boot by about 3/4 of an inch. Let's take another tour around. You can see we've got texturing going all the way down the tang of the knife, all the way around, except for this area here, which is smart, all the way around the ring. Just gives it that old, almost hammered look, as though it just came off a forge somewhere. Just fantastic. And he black washes them and tumbles them before he puts the final edge on. So I'm calling it the boot and ring dagger. Another look at that G10, the way it mates up in there. And look how fine he had to come with these legs of G10 that come partly up into the ring. I mean, there is a lot of work that needs to be done to get that to happen, for sure. There you go. Black Roc Knives, Ken Vehikite, the boot. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe.